Samford basketball back in the NCAA tournament. Way to go, Samford. They did this with all the pressure in the world on them. 28-5 going into the game last night. They had dominated the SoCon. A lot of great stories about Bucky all year long. But all that did was put the pressure on this team to have to win this game because they likely are left out if you don't win the game. And you see the video there of them cutting it down there in Asheville, the net, and Bucky gets the last piece of the net, pulls it down, and gets that turnaround and hold it up for all the Samford faithful who made it up to Asheville. Just an impressive run all season long from this basketball team. And, you know, it's not like these mid-majors or low majors have enough of an obstacle, but now they're done here on a Monday night. We're sitting here on a Tuesday morning, and their likely scenario for Samford is they don't play again until a week from this Thursday or Friday. Bucky's best coaching job is going to be having to keep this team sharp by the time they actually play, because they won't be they're too good to be in a play-in game by the time we get to their first game of the tournament.
So think about this. They have not played on this stage since 2000. And I remember watching them, I think it was against Syracuse or St. John's, and Mark Salyers was a great player. By the way, dated our friend Brittany Wagner when she was at Samford.
How about that?
Yeah, but he was a complete stud and played overseas for a long time. But I remember the nerves getting to Samford when they got to the tournament. I think this team actually, I think the nerves were there last night. I don't think they played their best basketball, not even close last night. I think they were really tight. And on the broadcast, you know, they were talking about Drake ends up beating Indiana State. Indiana State probably still in. They were talking about Drake might have been on the bubble if they lost. They were like, if Samford loses, they ain't on the bubble, which I agree. There was no chance a SoCon team was getting in, even with 27 or 28 wins. But I think the pressure was there last night, and now they'll have a week to really, I don't know, I think they're going to be relaxed, and I think they are a dangerous projected 13 all over the place. 13s play fours. There are 2 teams in state right now projected as fours. Committee's got a sense of humor. Don't be surprised at all. I would go stake right now. And this is giving you one free back. I think Samford will play either Alabama or Auburn in the first round.
Well, I mean, the odds, I'll take that stake bet, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Have you looked at the selection committee? Do you know who's on the committee?
Oh, I don't know who's on the committee now.
Is Martin Newton on it?
He is.
Yeah, he has to recuse himself.
But there's someone else in this discussion that's on it.
Yeah.
Who's that?
That'd be Greg Byrne.
Oh. Yeah.
Let me back that up a little bit. Because you know what? Martin Newton.
Scott's already flashed the lights.
Well, Martin Newton wants it. Greg Byrne doesn't want it.
Yeah. As Jim says, they have to recuse themselves when they're discussing their teams.
Yeah.
But as I always point out, they also have to come back in the room and look somebody else in the eye that's going to have to recuse themselves.
No doubt. You're about to leave next. I saw what you did to my ass. It's coming back on you.
Thank you. Texas and Houston. Yes. Yes.
But I mean, imagine if we got that game, whether it was Samford versus Auburn or Samford versus Alabama.
Zach says, so you're telling me they're playing Auburn.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, both those guys are going to be on the committee. I don't know how it will go. I kind of like your stake bet there just because you see Alabama and Auburn both on the 4, and a lot of people think Samford's a 13. And they do tend to have a sense of humor.
I saw them go in a different direction. I saw them Samford against Kansas in Lenardi's latest.
Yeah, my gut feeling.
That ain't good.
Well, I mean, if you're ever going to beat Kansas, this is the year.
You say that. You know, Dickinson's not going to play. McCullers isn't going to play. Those guys. So they basically flushed the Big 12 championship.
That's right. They're resting up, trying to get healthy, but they're not healthy, and they're broken. But now they're broken against the best teams in the Big 12.
The Big 12.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about Achor, which is he's a fun player to watch out of Australia for Samford, and he is really the only size they've got at 6'9". But Hunter Dickinson, when he's on at a legit 7 feet, that's a bad matchup.
I mean, if Samford played either Alabama or Auburn, it's more dangerous to me for Alabama than it is for Auburn. Toss up Janai and Dylan Cardwell at Auburn.
I agree.
Alabama would have to have a big game from Pringle and Grant Nelson.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, the bigger concern for Alabama against Samford is Alabama doesn't defend anybody. And Samford can burn you if you're not a good defensive team. I mean, they're a good shooting team. They're going to shoot. They're going to press the heck out of you. I mean, you saw that last night. East Tennessee just kept inbounding it into the deep corner, and Samford just kept trapping them in the deep corner. I'm like, what are you doing?
Well,
insanity.
They just kept inbounding right into that trap.
That's what leads to 19 turnovers.
Yeah.
And I was ready. I really thought Samford would dominate that game. I thought they'd win by 20+. I thought they might be a little tight, but I just thought East Tennessee State, after playing 3 consecutive games in 3 days, playing their 4th game against this Samford team, would be worn down. But they were sloppy. They turned it over 19 times, but give Bucky a lot of credit in this Samford team. I mean, this is exciting, but if I was an in-state team, whether it be Auburn or Alabama, I want nothing to do with this team.
I would just say one of the hardest things in sports to do is what Samford did, and that is be in a good conference. And I think Southern Conference is a good mid-major conference. It's a good conference.
It's not a bad basketball league at all.
Yeah, it's a good basketball league. To be in a good conference and win your regular season, be obviously the best team in the regular season, and then win your conference tournament. That is hard to do.
Because you got 2 or 3 teams that are good enough to beat you on a single night in a tournament that can eliminate you in these one big leagues from going to the big dance.
One bad game is all it takes.
All it takes is not even really, it just takes one C game sometimes if the other one has an A. Rockstar, give me Cup 1. Let's hear from Bucky McMillan, 40-year-old rising coach. Listen. I didn't jump on tweeting last night because I got a little. There were a lot of people in my business that were. I told you when Samford hired Bucky that this was going to happen, and I was like,
was that out there last night?
I don't remember. Do you remember everybody?
Give me one guy. Go on and just throw one out there.
Just throw one. Friends of mine.
But do you remember that being the reaction when Bucky was hired? I remember it being like, "Wow, that is a ballsy hire by Martin Newton." Because I remember this is pre-Nate Oates, obviously, and this is when we were in radio, and Alabama was languishing under Avery Johnson and just kind of a boring, nothing style. And we used to get a lot of, boy, they ought to go hire Bucky McMillan. They ought to go hire
at Alabama.
At Alabama. And I laughed at that. I'm like, I think Bucky's a phenomenal high school basketball coach, but the Alabama job's an awful big job.
But he was better than Avery Johnson.
Because he cared.
Yeah, but I thought...
Yeah, right. I mean, that's half of it.
Yeah, but the point would be you could probably do better than Bucky, which they did with Nate Oates, obviously. Nate Oates is a good coach, but I don't think Bucky was ready for the Alabama job coming straight out of Mountain Brook.
Well, the unfortunate thing, we still see it. We see it in the chat room that people hold this Bucky, the World Series of Poker player.
I don't get that.
By the way, winners win. I don't care. Seriously, I don't care what you're playing.
Would you rather your coach be good at poker or bad at poker?
Good at poker, yeah.
Listen, I like my coach to win at every freaking thing.
Yeah.
If he's going to win out in golf, I like him to be ballsy on the golf course.
That's right.
If he's going to sit down and play poker, I like him to win at poker.
But my point was...
If he sits down and coaches basketball at Samford, I like him to take pictures like that.
With nets around his neck.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of people like, this is a slam dunk hire. I think a lot of people like, this is the hire, I want to see how it works out.
Yeah.
And it's a huge gamble by Martin Newton.
Oh, yeah, I think it was a low floor, high ceiling, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you got with Bucky. And I think if Bucky is able to win a game, then there's going to be big decisions that are made because there's going to be a lot of jobs that are opening up this year.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. But great job out of Bucky. This is going to be exciting to watch Samford. There was a Samford viewing party last night at Odie's and Crestline. And I thought about going out there, but just watched it from the friendly confines of the couch. But, boy, it was fun watching them win this game.
I was impressed by the number of Samford people. I know they loaded up a couple of buses late yesterday and took more students up there. Ton of people in Asheville for the game. Here's Bucky afterwards, just talking about his heart being full for this basketball team and wanting them to get their reward.
So happy for this team. So happy for Samford University. I remember sitting in this deal our first year. We played as a 10 seed. Our first year here, we won 6 games. Came in here, we lost by 35, 40 points to Mercer. And I remember we had to recruit players. It was my first recruiting class. We had to convince guys that we could win this league. I said in that press conference we'd win this league, that we'd get the top of this league, and we'd win this tournament. And we did it. These are the first guys to win a SoCon championship for our university. And that's so hard to do, because now all the teams that come after them will be able to see it and they'll be able to believe it because it's been done before. And I'm so proud to do it with this group. I told someone earlier today that I've never wanted a team to win a championship more than this team right here. In a day and age where there's a lot of me going on, we had so many upperclassmen come in and buy into roles that would equal winning. And I'm just so happy for these guys. I'm so happy for our university.
That's Bucky last night. Really good on the podium. And And for this team now, they will wait for Selection Sunday and then start preparing for a first-round game. But as we were stating, they don't have to worry about Dayton. They won't play on Tuesday and Wednesday. They are good enough in all the computers that they'll skip over those play-in games, and they'll be in the field of 64 when you're filling your bracket out. And that's a cool thing for Samford. Haven't done it since 2000. Have they been to the tournament 2 times before this?
Yeah, I think it was 99 and 2000.
Yeah, it was back-to-back years. And it was St. John's and Syracuse, and I forgot which way it was. But less than a week ago, and it was one of the more electric atmospheres we've ever seen for college basketball when we were in Uptown, down in Birmingham, getting ready for both Alabama and Auburn to play. And I don't know if you guys remember this. We were doing a big Bud Light promotion at the Southern down there, and we were on the rooftop, and we were all watching Furman and Virginia.
I remember
and
well.
Furman out of this conference, and I think it was Fletcher McGee that actually hit the winning shot. But Furman was in this exact spot, a 13 against a 4 in Virginia, and they were able to advance.
Yeah. So we could see Samford playing into 32, maybe even the Sweet 16, but a long wait coming. We'll get back to Bucky a little bit later on. Do you have one more thought, Brownie, on the Samford Bulldogs and just what they've accomplished there? I mean, look at the program now. The football program, not this past year, but the year before, was in the FCS national semifinal game, had to go to Fargo, always tough, played on national TV, and now Martin Newton's got his basketball team in the big dance. Couple of good coaches there down at Samford and some national exposure for the program.
Yeah, I can't wait to see who they get matched up against. If it's a team that's got a big front line, again, a Chora at 6'9" is the only size they've got. But if it's a team that doesn't handle the press well, you saw this last night, they are going to press you. That is Bucky Ball. You're going to press after almost any made basket. And they can create a ton of turnovers. So if you guys shake your guard play, Samford's a team that could beat you.
Well, Samford's a team. I think they've got 7 D1. They're in the top 10 offensively in 7 different categories right now, including points per game, where they're scoring over 84 points per game. So this is a team when they catch fire. And again, they were off last night.
Yeah.